Hi sir, my name is Parunistri Nagari. I'm very glad to give the discussion on the ethics paper now, which is newly included in the 2018 APPSC Group 1 notification about the ethics and what is the importance of ethics in the human life, in the administration and in the governance, everything. So I'm very glad, both personally and professionally, I'm going to give the discussion. I'm very glad to feeling about this discussion. So, first of all, before going into discussion, sir, uh, first of all, we have to know the importance of ethics. Why it is included in our competitive exams, like in the civils paper, it is one of the paper, the ethics and human relations. Why ethics is very important, and several workshops are going on ethics is why it is important. It's very important for us to know. So, our in our syllabus there are so many several concepts are there in the ethics, like the ethics in the human relations, ethics in the private relationships, ethics in the public relationships. What is the ethics importance in the codes of ethics, codes of conduct, Lokayukta, Lokpal, how the ethics is important in maintaining the international relations, and how the ethics is very important in the human relations, public and private ethics, professional ethics, international ethics, leadership ethics, the work culture, determinants of ethics, components of ethics, everywhere, everywhere they have included the ethics, why it is very important. So now there are several important concepts in our syllabus, but due to some time confinement, I want to share the views and I want to teach the lesson now on the emotional intelligence and the administration, governance, in the ethics, and how the components of ethics influence our human lives, both professionally and personally, is very important. And now I'm going to discuss the concept of emotional intelligence. And it is one of the major important thing. And it's last time in the group 1 2018 notification, the exam is conducted in 2020 December. In that mains exam also, there are several questions on the short note and questions on the emotional intelligence questions related to empathy and everything. So now with that experience, I have already wrote the exams, and with that experience, with that proper idea on that exam, now I'm going to give the detailed discussion on the emotional intelligence. So before, okay, now we start. So before going to the discussion of emotional intelligence, first of all, we have to know the definition of emotional intelligence and components of emotional intelligence. And there are several noted personalities, the role of reformers. They have said the emotional intelligence concepts in their books. So we will discuss those, and the emotional intelligence, empathy, one of the subconcept of emotional intelligence, and the emotional intelligence branches, components, and what is its importance in the both professions and personal lives of every human beings, administrators, and what is the ethics importance in maintaining the social and international relations. So how the emotional intelligence should be very important. All these we will discuss now. So start before going to discussion. So after starting the discussion, first of all, we will know the definition of the emotional intelligence. So what is meant by emotional intelligence? According to, there are so many persons gave the so many important definitions on this emotional intelligence. So we will take one important decision definition which gave by the godfather of the emotional intelligence. His name is Daniel Goleman. He is an American psychologist and who is considered to be as the godfather of the emotional intelligence. So this person said one definition is that emotional intelligence is nothing but how you manage your emotions internally, like so many emotions, how to balance the emotions, positive way, how you respond the emotions in a positive way, how it should be very important to human lives to change their lives and to be perfectly imagined to be as a perfect person outside. These are very important for an emotional intelligence. Actually, I want to say one thing here. So before going to the emotional intelligence, the most important subconcept or constitutive based one component of this emotional intelligence is one thing is there, that is the empathy, or it should be considered this emotional intelligence concept as an emotional quotient, EQ. EQ is nothing but an emotional intelligence. Okay, the quotient is a measure of one thing. Here, emotional quotient means the quotient which is used to measure the emotions, and that measure of emotions is to be considered as an emotional intelligence. Okay, this empathy is a concept which is the definition is how we relate to the others, how we correlate to the others is very, very important. So, okay, this empathy means relation. Relation between what? The physical emotions. Relation between what? The persons in the society. Relation between what? Managing the emotions internally and outside. Relationship what? The professional and personal ethics. Relationship between what? Persons in an organization. The persons which is going to be discussed. The person's behaviors. Balancing of behaviors, relationship between the person's behaviors. So many persons we will see in the society. We have to, after all, manage a social animal. We have to balance all the emotions. Okay, right? So now again, this is the definition that is to be followed by the so many scholars. The definition which is given by the Daniel Goleman is to be followed as a considered as the definition of emotional intelligence by so many persons who are researchers, doing researchers, who are scholars in the ethics, are considering this definition only. Okay, right. So next we are going to analyze one main thing is that what are the components of emotional intelligence? The components is nothing but a self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation, gracious, social skills, so many things, emotional intelligence. If what all we discuss all these things, we will have a proper idea on what is the emotional intelligence. Okay. Okay. So first of all, we will discuss about the social awareness. First of all, the awareness means aware of the things in and around us. Self-awareness means the awareness of things which are going to be struggling phase or whatever may be called as sad period, happiest period, happy memories, sweet memories. Everything is related internally in our internal side. So this is to be self-awareness. We should be aware that what is going on, how we have to manage. If you are not going to control our emotions, what will be going on the outside? How we deal with the persons and outside. If at all we will be sometimes have to be keep it secret. So many things, not to controverse the situations. That balance is very important. So that should we should be aware of. So many it should be very useful in our families, if at all we are working in the culture, organization, teaching, everything, relations. So that is very important, self-awareness. And self-regulation means by knowing, by keeping awareness of all these are mind, first of all, we will keep mind that, okay, what is to be going on? This self-regulation we have to control. Regulation is nothing but a control. Controlling of what? Emotions. Emotions may be so many types. So from first so many onwards, I'm saying it emotions, emotions, emotions. Emotions means what? There are so many. Happiness is one of the emotion. Sadness is one of the emotion. Anger is one of the emotion. Anxiety is one of the emotion. Confidence is one of an emotion. There's so many emotions or examples are there, and that we are going to be discuss all these things. So the self-regulation of all these emotions are very important. That is one of the component which leads to be the increasing of the emotional intelligence. Next is the motivation, that is very, very important component among all the components of the emotional intelligence. So that emotional intelligence motivation is that for anything we want, first of all, we have to fail. In our competitive exams, we will see this group 1 exams. For example, we take this group 1 exams. Patience is very important. Always notifications are not regular. Sometimes if at all we write in a new way also. Uh, the sometimes judgment is in the court. Now we are seeing in the 2018 notification. So much patience is very important. That is also one of the emotion, human emotion. So in all these times, we have to keep always motivated, never give up, never give up, never give up. Like emotions is very important. Never give up means we can't give up until we fix, once we fix the goal. Now, yes, now I entered into this competitive field. Yes, I want to become an RDO or CTO or a municipal commissioner or a good administrator or an MPDO. Everything we fixed in the goal, we have to be keep motivated of all others. Yes, once I entered into the field, I have a patience. Once I entered into this competitive exam, in any unfavorable conditions, I have to be become an officer. That is very important. It's a personal example of me too. I'm also waiting for the 2018. I also wrote the exams. I always keep motivating me. So it's my personal difference here. So always give motivation. Intrinsic motivation is very important, and always it's not a good thing that somebody will come, somebody will motivate me. This not at all will be possible all the time. Self motivation is possible all the time. One thing you have to remember always, self motivation is the best thing, because all those persons won't come every time to motivate you to okay, you not like that. Self motivation, the power of self motivation is very 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 much in our mind than so many things. Okay. And another thing is the social skills. It is related to the society. After all, man is a social animal, and that man is always correlated with the society, the persons in the society. He always used to fight internal emotions along with the emotions outside. So many different persons' behaviors in the society we will follow. We have to deal with them. Sometimes, for example, here we made a reference that so that we can easily understandable the definition of the social skill. What is that? The social skill is, for example, if you are a team leader, you are leading the team of some 50 or 40 or number else, not at all a matter. So you are dealing with the team. So you have to manage the team. Some your manager or your director gave an important work to you, assigned to you to manage the team and all in that society, in our community, whatever it may be. So, if at all under the opinion, so many persons have the in the group, in the members in the group, so many views. Some person may say something, somebody have different opinion. So, because all the fingers in our hand are not equal, so all the emotions, all the person's behaviors also not equal. Even so many members of the same family or siblings of the same family have different types of emotions and different types of behaviors, but always in that we have to manage, we have to be keep it one, we have to go through, we have to balance them, and we have to correlate with them, we have to coordinate with them, and finally the work should be done. It is one of the important quality of that team leader. It is one of the leadership ethics, and another we have to say it is in work culture. Sometimes it may be related to the international issues also, international society also. The society skills is very important. In that also we have to keep that okay. We should tell we have satisfy all the emotions. Okay, final the work should be done. That skill is very important for the social skill. Okay. So all these are one of the important components of the emotional intelligence. So along with this emotional intelligence, now we have set the definition and the components of emotional intelligence. Okay. So now we have to say why all this we have to study first. That means importance of the emotional intelligence is very important. Why? Because emotional intelligence is not at all a subject, or it's not to be considered as one of the thesis. It's not to be considered as one theory. This emotional intelligence is nothing but and imbibed in our human lives. Actually, it should be imbibed in our human lives. Why? Because if a person who is having an emotional intelligence, or he has an emotional intelligence with utmost patience, his life will be wonderful and amazing. Always our researchers also used to say, so many researchers have done up to now on these emotions, emotional intelligence, ethics. The person who is very emotional intelligence, his life will be very happy. Several researchers have said all this up to now. We have seen so many researchers. So, not at all a professional ethics that we have said already, and the leadership ethics, work culture. Personally, the person who manages the emotions depends upon situation, not the trigger the emotions always. Sometimes we have to hide the emotions sometimes. For example, if any sad situation is there, one important heart patient or any some person who is suffering from illness, who is mentally very weak, that motivation is very important. That situation may, if at all, someone heart attack patient is there in our home, suddenly we have to say one sad news. So suddenly we can't tell that. We have to know the emotional intelligence. We have to convey the information very slowly to him. We have to convey the message, okay, very slowly, okay, like that, so that he will take also. After all, in the situation we didn't control, we said very loudly, okay, and we cried in front of him, that patient. So what will you think? His heart may suddenly get stopped. So in this situation, the emotional balance is very important. That is the EQ, emotional quotient, is completely different from the intelligence quotient. So we should always being managed of emotions, respond to the emotions, always behaving with emotions, hiding our emotions sometimes. Now I said the example of an heart attack patient. Sometimes over anger is also not good. Sometimes over sadness, overthinking, overconfidence. All these are beyond the managing of emotional balance. This is not good actually. So this is one of the importance of emotional intelligence. So intelligent, we should be not at all an intelligent person. We should be emotional intelligent. Is will be more successful in life, both in professional and personal lives. And in actually in our Telugu one saying is there, inta gelichi racha gelavali. What is that means? ఇంట్లో గెలవటం అంటే మనం ఇంటి దగ్గర ఎమోషన్స్ అన్ని మేనేజ్ చేసుకొని, ఇంట్లో ఉన్న పర్సన్స్ మేనేజ్ చేసుకునేటప్పుడు, అక్కడ కూడా మనం బయట సొసైటీకి వెళ్ళినప్పుడు ఇంకా బాగా వర్క్ చేయగలం. ఇట్స్ టు బి సే ఇన్ ఇంగ్లీష్ దట్ if at all we balance the persons, balance the situations in our home, which is the basis of our lives, daily we have to be live in the society. Our mind will be pleasant, and that culture we will imbibe in the profession, whatever is the profession we may do. So it's very important. So I'm saying one of the example actually, so that we can get easily understood what is emotional intelligence and all. Okay, so my conclusion is that emotional intelligence means, it's not a conclusion. It's a very vast topic. I'm saying simply just description, introduction, what are there in the emotional intelligence concepts, what are the ethics we should follow, what are the emotional balanced persons should do, how it impacted in personal lives and the work culture, in the administration, in governance. Sometimes in the crisis situations we have to handle so many persons, so many victims who are suffering from this, like flood victims, sometimes fire accidents, something with the fire accidental incidents, so many persons. So they were giving complaints and they will wait for our help and all. So in that also, so many persons will scold us so many times if at all the service is late through the government side, they will be late. So in that also, a good administrator should be balanced and always keep answers, giving answers in a very soft way. After all, we are human beings, we have emotions, I will agree. But managing the emotions every time is not possible. But we will try. Sometimes we will try and try until we leads to achieve the success. Is one proverb on saying in the English. So try and try until we leads. It is. I'm not saying that it will be possible at overnight, sudden. It's a gradual change, step by step. So first one control the one emotion, another one we can control another emotion. We will control another emotion, emotion by emotion, step by step we will control. Finally, our change, we will observe the change in also in ourselves. and the relations will be very strengthened. Our bondings with siblings, relatives, friends will be important. It's very necessary. So, what I'm saying to see the entire concept summary of the emotional intelligence. Now, I'm giving discussion on this from the 20 minutes onwards. Is that emotional intelligence is a very, very, very important topic that we should follow both on personal lives and our professional values too, our professional life too, so that we will become a or we will become honored both in our home and outside. And finally, we will be a perfect person, always give name and fame in and around us, in the surrounding environments. So finally, uh, one saying is there in English: in every life, everybody should lead the meaningful life. The meaningful life is what everybody is going to birth and everybody is going to die. That's a common to every human being. So, in the meanwhile, between the birth and death, this phase, everybody should have a balance to control how do we get the name and how you are behaved. All this will be count from your birth and the phase between birth and death phase. How we got the name, how you behaved, how you lived, how you manage the past situations around us, how to manage the behaviors around us, how you manage and control your emotions. These are very, very important. So, after your death, also, your name and the person, okay, somebody is a very good person. Okay, somebody who lived is a person with ethical and moral values. So, somebody gave an inspiration to so many persons. Somebody lived a very much perfect life, helped so many. Like these names should be there for every person. That is the meaning. The meaning should be there for every person. So, all this will be possible only with the emotional balance, that is an emotional intelligence, emotional quotient. So, who control the emotions, who balance the emotions inside us, always be a perfect person, always got the name and fame as a good person with moral and ethical values. A person that everybody wins their life if at all every person will follow this emotional intelligence concept. So, what I'm going to say finally, I will conclude the discussion with one saying, or what do we call as a proverb or saying something. Because emotional intelligent persons always wins in every phase of life, not in one society. Any way he may go or she may go, he'll always be a winner. There is no failure for an emotional intelligence person. So, okay. So, friends, me and you and all the persons around us, we all will expert, we all will be emotional intelligence and always be patience, managing our emotions, controlling our emotions like anger, sad, anxiety, everything. And we will go and we will lead our life in a perfect way. This temporary life we will go and we will live also after our death by the following the emotional intelligence and ethical and moral values. Okay, friends. So I suggesting you. So please follow this concept. It is very important. With my experience, I'm saying. I wrote the exams also, the group and mains 2018 exam. This is very important. With my experience, I individually guided so many persons like railways, competitive exams, and banks and all individually. And I was in this field from the 10 years onwards in Hyderabad, preparing for civil services. And I already got selected as an AP Jilla Purchase Department, Civil Supplies Corporation Limited, Staff Selection Commission, Railway exams. And I resigned from those jobs because teaching is my passion. I'm individually guiding so many persons individually. So please follow the concept. And we all felt to be very glad to follow this concept of the subject of ethics And always keep in mind this exercise is not for getting marks in study. This ethics subject is a very blessing for us to live a normal and good, important life, and always we will be perfect persons. Thank you. Thank you all.